Well, good morning and Happy New Year. I hope 2016 is off to a great start for you. I am Ken Eagle and I will be your host for today's webinar. Welcome to Atlona's live webinar broadcast introducing new AV products and solutions launching in 2016. We have a lot to cover today, so I will address the questions at the end of the broadcast. To ask questions, simply type into the Q&A or the chat window and I will read them from there. If I see them pop up while I'm on a slide, I'll try and address them at that time. If not, I'll definitely get to them on the last slide in the deck. To get a copy of today's slide deck, send me an email to ken.eagle@atlona.com, and I will send you back an email with the link to download a copy of the slide deck. This broadcast is also being recorded, and you can replay it back anytime at atlonaacademy.com. Simply go to the video library and select webinars, and you'll see it listed right there. Okay, let's get started. Atlona has a lot of new products launching in 2016. For today's webinar, what we're going to do is start with the AMS, which is the Atlona Management System. It's a software we announced back at InfoComm, so it shouldn't be too unfamiliar to anybody. After that, we're going to jump in and take a look at the new category-based distribution amplifiers that are coming out, as well as a couple of new extender models. And then from there, we'll jump into a category of products that fall into our simple automation suite of products. And we've also got some new vocabulary and terminology in there that we're going to go through, and also take a look at the existing and new products that fit into that category. All right, starting out then with the Atlona Management System. We did show this at InfoComm. We did show it at CEDIA too if you were there. So hopefully you've had a chance to see it. By the way, this product did just launch 2 days ago. It is now live on the Atlona.com website under Atlona Management System on the product page. You can download a copy of this. I would recommend after this webinar, everyone should download a copy and take a look at it. Also, by Monday of next week, there will be a training course in the Atlona LMS, the Learning Management System, through our education portal, where you can log in and see detailed video instructions on using the software. All right, so what is the AMS? The Atlona Management System is a powerful software for remote management, configuration, and product updates of Atlona IP controllable devices. Again, this is a software program, not a hardware solution. Who needs the AMS? The Atlona Management System, or AMS, is ideal for commercial, education, government, and residential environments. So in other words, it pretty much works everywhere. It was designed to be a solution across multiple different verticals. Why do we need the AMS system? Well, the AMS system completes the AV solution. Up until now, Atlona has delivered a lot of tremendous, great value-add hardware product solutions. Now, the AMS is a software tool that helps to round out the offering. As opposed to just installing and walking away, the AMS now gives the integrator a tool to help speed up the install and be able to service remotely as well. The AMS is a necessary component allowing Atlona to deliver the highest quality solutions in the AV industry. Let's take a look at the challenges that exist that brought about the need for the AMS. To begin with, how about labor? The AMS helps reduce on-site installation time because you can pre-configure products before ever heading to the job site. Once you're there, it's a simple download over the Ethernet connection to the product. You're up and ready to go. It also helps eliminate that repetitive process of an installer going from product to product to product. If the same product's in multiple locations on an installation, it's a simple one-push configuration, saving a lot of time. It also can help minimize the number of members of the team during the install, freeing up those resources to potentially be used on additional installation sites somewhere else. And in regard to support, it means less on-site visits, saving that truck roll when it's not necessarily needed. And also reducing the number of support calls from the end user, which not only eliminates frustration, but also eliminate time spent troubleshooting unnecessarily. And in terms of maintenance, it allows the integrator to create a reoccurring revenue structure that might not currently exist. with health monitoring services and the ability for the system to monitor proactively to find issues before they become a problem, it helps the installer create a recurring revenue and a value add back to that customer and their installation. Now, the Atlona management system currently is a client server-based application, which means an installation of the software needs to be running at the job site. So a server exists at the job site. You have the Atlona management software on there. It's on the standard IP network along with the other Atlona products. During the install, the integrator, the installer, does a discovery, finds all the products, does its programming through that server. That server is kept there on site. Now remotely, from back at the home office, you can, over the network, connect into that server and see all of the Atlona products on that network. Through that interface now, you have the ability to do firmware updates, reload software, make changes to the system without rolling that truck to go back out. The graphical user interface to the AMS is very simple to use. You see a snapshot of it here on the screen now. On the left side, you've got the navigation tree. It's real easy to lay out and use. It looks familiar to other software programs you typically use in Windows and Mac-based operating systems. You can see on that navigation tree there, generically it's called commercial building. This might be called, you know, Bank of America, for example, and maybe it's a campus where you've got multiple different rooms inside that building. You can call each room something different: conference room 1, conference room 2, huddle space, maybe a classroom or a lecture room inside the building. And then you can identify each of the products inside of that room. And when you click on a product, it populates in the main window in the content area. And you'll see a photo, a picture of the Atlona product that's there. You'll see the front and the back of it. And then you'll get the tab summary sheet, which you see on the main screen there, which shows all of the different interface menus available in that product. So you can do all your control right from within the AMS. So as I mentioned, the AMS launched 2 days ago this week, so it's now live. Products currently supported in the AMS, there are 5 of them. They include the UHD SW52, the SW52ED, the CLSO 601, the CLSO 612, and the Pro 366M. Now, additional products being added yet this quarter will be the CLSO 824, the Pro 388M, and the HDVS family of products. And then throughout the rest of the year, you'll see all the rest of the Atlona products coming online live in the system as well. Looks like we had a question here in regards to the AMS. Can you rename the IP address to reflect the product in each room? Yes, you can put a name there so that, you know, it doesn't just have to be an IP address that you're looking at. You can actually see the name of the product in that window as well. You know, you'll find that the software is really extremely easy to use. Like I said, download a copy. It's available now, and Monday there will be a video education version or a course available in the education portal at Atlona. So it'll walk you through everything. Otherwise, you can always go through the manual as well and look things up there. All right, moving on now, let's talk about distribution amplifiers that are coming out. We have 3 new distribution amplifiers that will be launching here in 2016. These are in the HD-based family, so they're of the category cable type, which means these are HDMI inputs and HD-based outputs. There are 3 of them. The first is the UHD Cat4, which is 1 HDMI in with 4 HD-based outputs with performance at 70 meters or 230 feet. Then there's the UHD Cat4ED, ED standing for extended distance. This supports performance at 100 meters or 328 feet. And then the UHD Cat8, which is 1 in 8 output, and it supports performance at 70 meters or 230 feet. You see the price points listed there as well in the table. The obvious question here is, with the Cat8, can we do extended distance? We do not offer extended distance on the Cat8 model, so to have 8 output, you would simply put together 2 of the Cat4 EDs, and that essentially would be a Cat8 output device. All right, so additional features included on these units, they will all support 4K at 60 hertz with 420 color sampling, which is 8-bit color. They'll support HDCP 2.2 for 4K copyright protection. And here's a big one, they all support control pass-through. You notice on the back side of these units, you see the RS-232 and IR port above each of the HD-base-T outputs. This means now, from the distribution amplifier, we can send RS-232 and IR commands downstream to those displays to turn them on and off, or change other features on them, which did not exist on our previous HD-base-T distribution amplifier. So that does now exist. We have control pass-through, and you can control the displays. The Cat4 and Cat4 ED are half rack width design, which means they do ship with rack ears and a blank space beside them, so you can put them in one unit, a 1U rack space. You can also stack 2 side by side. Had another question here. Are those Phoenix connectors inputs for control to the DA or outputs to the devices? So you have one on the very left that's called master, and that one is for the control. And then you have Phoenix connectors over each of the outputs that run to the product, the local product, if you have it there. Let's see, these are also made up with the SW series switchers, 5 series switchers as well. They can be located side by side in a rack. Let's see, here's a little more detailed picture. No new information on the slide except that you get kind of a larger view of the back of the Cat4. Here's the back of the Cat4 ED, looks very similar. Michael had another question regarding those HD-base-T controls. So because this is HD-base-T, those signals can be transmitted over the category cable, over the HD-base-T connection. I think that's what you were asking. So yes, they can, and you could use a UHD EX 100 CE receiver on the other end, and then or even the 70 C receiver on the other end, and then you can break out the IR and RS-232 control to the display in that regard, sending it over the HD-base-T connection. Then there's a picture of the UHD Cat 8, a little bit larger, so you can see the back of it. Notice that these all have HDMI input. They also have HDMI output, which means you can loop out and connect to another distribution amplifier. So that's what the second HDMI there is for. It's an output to link to a second distribution amplifier, so you can extend these. All right, moving on to extenders. We have the UHD 100 CETX. Now, this is the exact same extender you've seen, but up till now, we haven't sold this extender as a standalone piece. It's been sold as part of the kit. Now we're offering the 100 CE transmitter as a standalone piece. It has an MSRP of $374.99. Nothing new here. It's the same features we've seen all along. It's just being broken out as its own SKU. So 100 CETX is now a standalone piece that you can purchase. And what is new is the UHD 100 CEA kit. So this looks just like the 100 CE extender that we've seen, except it's got the letter A there on the end of the part number, which means audio. A stands for audio, and you'll notice on this unit there is an optical audio output on both the transmitter and the receiver unit. This unit was designed so that it can be used with an optical audio return path. So let's say, for example, you've got something like a smart TV, and maybe someone is using a Netflix app, so they're streaming content over the internet directly to that TV. So audio is now originating at the TV, it's the source. But if you want to send audio from that TV to an amplifier that drives some external speakers, you now have to send audio out of that TV, and if the amplifier is located some distance away, you need an extra cable to do that. So if you have HD-base-T installed, we can now send audio into the receiver. That's what the audio optical input's for on the receiver. It will then become embedded onto the category cable, sent down the line to the transmitter, where it can then be de-embedded, sent out the optical port into a receiver locally there, and then be used to drive some external speakers. Now you still have all the other functions you have of the standard EX100 CE receiver. So it's 100 meter or 328 feet performance. supports Ethernet, RS-232, bidirectional IR, handles 4K at 60 hertz, HDCP 2.2, and features power over Ethernet. It has a retail price of $749.99. Here's a picture of what that application looks like. You see there on the right side, you've got the smart TV. Audio is being broken out from that and being input into the receiver, where it's then being embedded onto the HC-base line, sent back down to the transmitter. We're using the optical audio. It's broken back out, sent to a receiver, and then powering some external speakers. Now, you'll notice on this slide, and you'll see it on a few other slides, there's a link there at the bottom that says, check out the video online. So we've added several new videos recently for a lot of these products and some of the features. If ever you see that link and you've got the slide deck, you can click on that. It will take you right out to the video. Otherwise, you can visit the product page of this product or at loanacademy.com or our YouTube channel, and you can see that video there as well. Okay, so now we jump into this category of simple automation AV solutions. And this now is a category that features several products, and it's kind of an extension built out of what was the HDVS line. Our HDVS is very popular. It had a lot of basic automation features in it, like auto switching and the ability to turn a display on and off automatically. So that feature set has been taken and expanded to more products, and we're kind of terming this simple automation AV solutions. And so let's jump in and talk a little bit about simple automation and what that encompasses, and then look at the products, the new products that are in that category. So there are many new products that make small AV systems easy to install, easy to operate, and less expensive to own. And some of the key functions of these systems are included here in this bullet list. Automatic display on and off is a feature we're now calling automatic display control, or ADC. That's a term you'll see with our products. You'll see it now updated and reflected on our website. The next point there, automatic input selection. This is auto switching, now being called automatic input selection, or AIS, also now reflected in the product literature and on the website. Volume control on all of these products, allowing the presenter to control volume. Multiple inputs, as we've seen, via HDMI and VGA sources. In the future, with some new products coming out, like a future version of HDVS called the HDVS 300, we'll see the ability to integrate with PCs for things like video conferencing via Skype, GoToMeeting, and WebEx. And of course, scaling on some of our CLSO models, HDVS, and SC500 products. So by integrating these key functions into the switchers and extenders, Atlona brings simplicity to the conference room or the huddle space in the classroom. This chart here kind of gives you an idea of where we're featuring, which products are featuring this set of features. So the first there is the HDVS TXRX. That's our classic HDVX. Also, a little further down, you see the HDVS 150. These feature ADC, automatic display control. That's the ability to turn the display on and off automatically using RS-232. They also feature auto switching using a technique called HPD, which is hot plug detect, which everybody I'm sure is familiar, because I believe everybody has gone through and become certified through Atlona Academy through our 100-level certification, where we cover hot plug detect. The next two items there, the SW51 and the SW52, they feature automatic switching using video detection, termed VID on the chart here. We'll talk a little bit more about that on another slide. And then a big group of products here, the 52ED, the SC500, CLSO 601, the new HDVS 200, and the new SW5000 ED, all feature automatic display control using RS-232, using IP control, using CEC, which we'll talk a little bit more about what that feature is coming up as well, and using auto switching or automatic input selection using the video detection technique. Let's see, Michael had a question. USB connectors for PC. I might have missed that, Michael, if you were talking about that on the last slide. HDVS, yeah, so HDVS will have USB connectors on it. It's not a product we're going to look at in this presentation today, although in the very near future we will be having additional webinars and learning sessions on HDVS 300. It's a fairly advanced product. It does have USB ports, and it will be really built ideally for video conference solutions. All right, taking a little deeper look into automatic display control, ADC. ADC means that when a user plugs their PC into an HDMI or a VGA port, No other steps are required to see the image on the screen. When the source is removed or shut off, the display turns off. So again, the user plugs in, it turns on. When they unplug, it turns off. No control system, no IR remotes, no displays left on all weekend. It's simple, easy, effective, and priced right. It's a feature you've all seen in the HDVS. It now applies to the SW52, 52ED, the 5000, some of the CLSO products. A really popular feature here. Taking a little more in-depth look at this, plus adding ADC to several existing products and also adding more ways to control displays. So in addition to RS-232 control displays, we now support IP control displays and CEC control displays. CEC stands for Consumer Electronic Control. It's a control protocol built into the HDMI spec. We are now featuring that in many of our products. It's popular with consumer-based displays, so particularly in those applications where a customer has a consumer-based display or is using or wants to use consumer-based displays to save money on a budget. CEC is an ideal control method to use for auto on and off. Costs nothing extra. You can take advantage of it when you're using Atlona products with these consumer displays. And again, notice the link there. Check out the video online. We made a real great 3-minute video on CEC and what it is and how to use it. So feel free to check that out online and learn a bit more about CEC. Now, automatic input selection, which is termed AIS, remember this is auto switching, is equally important to automating the conference room. Never fumble for the right cable again. When an end user connects their computer, the switcher automatically selects that input. Simple and effective. It's what we've seen in the HDVS, again, applying it to more products. You see it being used here with the SW5000, which we'll cover in a moment, also teamed up with the HDVS 200 transmitter. Simple systems do well using hot plug detect, signal present on all HDMI and most VGA systems. Remember, this is how we've done it with HDVS classic products. However, these systems can be fooled by DisplayPort adapters or DVRs or other devices that are always on. Some of you may have encountered this in the field with some of your customers. That can be an issue, and that is why Atlona has switched to a more reliable solution. More reliable switching can be achieved by detecting the presence of a video signal, which we term VID, like you saw in the last chart. This is a more reliable solution, and we don't run into the issues with display adapters, DVRs, or other devices that are always on, causing confusion in the system. So again, offering a great feature and making it even better. All AIS systems work by switching to the last connected source. How they behave after that varies by manufacturer. What happens when the source is disconnected or shut off? Take a look at an example here. First, when a display is off and somebody connects, display automatically turns on. When another source is connected, the device automatically switches to that other source. And again, when another source is connected. Now, when something is turned off or disconnected, what happens? The last connected source is automatically selected, or the last source that was turned on is automatically selected, or the previously connected source if either of the above are removed. So there's a great little demo there you can use to show that off to your customers, but it's real simple. When disconnecting, the last connected source is selected, or the last source that was turned on, or again, the previously connected source if either of the above were not present. In terms of volume control, all Atlona products will support volume control except for the HDVS Classic and the HDVS 150. There's no volume control buttons on these, but you will find them on the HDVS 200 series products, the SW5000, the SC500, and the CLSO 601 products. Now, the simplest way to adjust the volume is to adjust the volume output from the switcher. That means right from the switch, you're sending the volume command, whether you want it up or down. This may result in excessive noise from downstream amplifiers. In some cases, the user may wish to adjust the volume from the sources that are not coming from the control point. That's fine. You can do that either way. You can adjust it from the Atlona product or from the separate amplifier. Either way is great, and Atlona supports both methods there. Atlona also offers customers the ability to send volume up and volume down and mute commands using the buttons on the front of the HDVS 200, the 300, the SW5 series products, as well as the SC500. These commands can be sent using either RS-232 or IP telnet commands. Note that IP should be used in larger systems to maximize routing capabilities. So volume's key, and Atlona offers lots of ways to do it. Again, in summary, from the buttons on the front, you can send volume directly. You can also use those buttons to control the audio that's built into the display. So if the TV display on the wall has speakers built in, you can control those speakers from the Atlona product using the RS-232 or IP commands. All right, HDVS solutions. Product we want to cover here today is the HDVS 200. Again, this was shown in demo at InfoComm last year. So these images should look familiar to you. You can see the transmitter in the upper right, the receiver in the lower right, and then in the center of this display there, you may be seeing this for the first time, but this is the transmitter wall plate for the HDVS 200. Notice that it is a two-gang Decora style wall plate. So you buy a standard two-gang Decora style ring to go over this, and you see right on there you have input control, you have display control, you have your volume up and down, and you still have your HDMI input, your VGA input, and the audio input to go along with that VGA command. We have support for Ethernet on these. Notice the LAN connection on both the transmitter and the receiver, which means both of these devices will sit on the IP network. They can both be managed through the AMS software. They will offer better 4K performance and power over Ethernet, which means they will be compatible with all of the new PoE-based Atlona 4K products. Notice on the receiver, that's the image in the lower right corner, the bottom back side of that, you have a contact closure built right into that, which means if you're using a projection system, you can drop down a motorized screen from here, or maybe if you have window shades, electronic window shades in the room, you can trigger those to drop from this as well. You have dual RS-232 control, as well as IP, RS-232, and CEC control out of this product. All right, and jumping on now to switchers, we have one new switcher that we're announcing as well. That is the UHD SW5000ED. This should look a bit familiar to you in that it's in the same form factor as the SW5 series products that we've already released. It's one rack unit tall. It's a half rack width wide. Actually, in the image there in the bottom, you can see it ships with a blank set of rack ears so that you can mount this right into a rack and cover that blank space. Otherwise, you can mount two of these side by side. This does feature 100-meter performance, so it's using the 328 feet HDBaseT outputs and inputs. One thing you'll notice right away on the back of this, rather than having 5 HDMI inputs like we've seen on the other SW5 series switchers, this has 3 HDMI, and inputs 1 and 2 are HDBaseT inputs. So we can use the HDVS 200 or the 150 and input directly into this device right here. And then on the output, you have an HDBaseT output. Also supports PoE and 100-meter output distance, so you can use the UHD EX100CE as the output on this as well. As far as display control goes, you also have support for IP, RS-232, and CEC, just like we mentioned earlier. This features automatic display control and automatic input switching on it. We'll have an MSRP of $1549.99, and we'll begin shipping in Q2. Here's a quick drawing to illustrate how that would look. Notice I've got a document camera connected going directly into an HDMI input. And then I also have an HDVS 200TX connected into one of the HDBaseT inputs. So I have auto switching on the HDVS 200. I also have auto switching built into the SW5000ED, so I can auto switch between the document camera and the HDVS input. And then I'm using the EX100CE as my receiver connected to the display. And CLSO, we have one new CLSO solution. That is the CLSO 612ED. So this is very much like the original 612, except now it says ED on the end of the part number, which means extended distance, which means this now features performance at 100 meters or 328 feet. It also features PoE, power over Ethernet. So the CLSO 612ED is PoE and is compatible with the HDVS and 200 and 150 input devices, and it's PoE on the output, so it's compatible with the EX100CE receiver for the output as well. So again, with this feature, you've got the ability to control volume and mute from the buttons or through the RS-232 or IP control. You also have CEC control built into this, auto switching, and auto display control, which means we can automatically turn the display on and off and automatically control, change inputs, just like we could on the other features. So a whole suite of products now from Atlona that are standalone, if you will. They can be installed without an additional control system, saving installation time and cost for the integrator and providing a powerful yet affordable solution for the end users. Shipping in Q2 with a retail price point of $21.99. That wraps up new products. Just to review here, don't forget AtlonaAcademy.com. You'll find over 100 videos online at the site, including some of the ones that we called out in the slide deck here today. If you're not registered for our e-learning portal, jump out to AtlonaAcademy.com, click on the Education Portal tab, and sign up. If you are registered and you have not completed your certification, please get on there and begin on that and get your certification complete. Also, don't forget about our content library, document library, and the application library, which has a good majority of our drawings, with more coming online this quarter. You also see the Infocom and CEDIA logos there in the lower right. So remember, all of our courses through the education program do carry Infocom and CEDIA credits. They are accredited courses. And on the application design page, a couple of new updates there. If you haven't been to it recently, in addition to seeing some of our most popular designs, you'll see the request application design form. So if you or your customers are looking for some help with the design, you can always call in. You can always type your information into the form and submit it from here as well. Here's an example of one of our drawings there. Also, you see the certified design logo on the right-hand side. Beginning this year, all of the designs that go through Atlona, through our sales engineering team, will come out with a certified design logo, which means they've been through our process. It's guaranteed that all of the pieces that we spec are compatible with each other. There's no inconsistencies between POCC and PoE, for example. They will all properly manage and pass signals like HDCP and EDID properly. So look for the certified design logo on Atlona-based designs. All right, with that, let me wrap up and address any additional questions anyone might have. Also, don't forget, you can send ideas to ideas@atlona.com for any new products. This was recorded, so the recording will be posted later today at AtlonaAcademy.com under the video section. And to get a copy of this presentation, send me an email at ken.eagle@atlona.com or at tss@atlona. The address you see that on the screen goes to me as well. Someone had asked here, do users need to be signed up with Atlona Academy to use the design application? No, you do not. The design application is free to use. You can download designs from that page, or you can request assistance from that page. You only need to be signed up to get into the education portal to get certification. Otherwise, everything else on the site is free. Videos and designs are free to use. All right, guys, if you have questions, stay in line. I'll be happy to answer those. Type them in. If you feel you're all set, you're welcome to disconnect. And I thank you for joining the broadcast today. And don't forget, if any of your team members were unable to attend, share the recorded version with them so they can listen in as well. I have another question here. How easy is it for our management system to become part of a bigger building management solution? Are you talking about our AMS management system? I guess maybe clarify that one a little bit. Management system that will control temperature and lighting, so something that does a little bit more. So the AMS system currently is standalone. It's not written to talk to other programs that are out there. For example, there are HVAC programs that you can look at. We would not necessarily be compatible with those. However, drivers can be written if you had someone who was software inclined, that, you know, to talk to other devices other than Atlona products, it can be done. I couldn't necessarily speak to how easy that is because I don't do that myself, but it can be modified, code can be modified and written to talk to other systems. Another question, can you have more than one email address at Atlona Academy to access the website? Yeah, you can, absolutely. Now, if you're talking about an individual person, we would prefer that one person access from one email address and just had one account. That would be easiest because you're trying to manage certification, and certification is going to be tied to one username. That one username would really just have only one email address. So to have a second email address, you'd really have to have a second account. If you had an issue where you couldn't access or forgot or something, send email to training@atlona.com and we can reset that or change it to anything you'd like. But you really should have one email address tied to the one account. Now, if you have a company and you have employees, let's say you get 2 different employees and they each happen to use different email addresses, they can each have different email addresses and still be tied to the same company, though. That's fine. All right, I'll hang out here for just one more minute in case you have any other questions. And then we will wrap up and we'll post the recording later today. All right, looks like just about everybody is disconnecting now. So if you do come up with any additional questions, feel free to send those to me directly, ken.eagle@atlona.com, and I'll make sure I get back to you on those. Otherwise, everybody have a great start to your 2016. I appreciate your time today. Take care. Thanks.